This kind of shit right here is how we're all gonna end up getting killed.
The war in Ukraine, reports of at least 2 dead tonight in Poland from a missile not far from the Ukrainian border. Ukraine tonight saying it was Russia. Russia tonight denying responsibility. Of course, Poland is a NATO country, and this evening we know there has been an emergency meeting convened in Poland. President Biden has been briefed and what the White House said just moments ago. The first images just now coming in, the smoke you can see there off in the distance, the moment after the missile strike in the Polish countryside.
This kind of stuff can definitely lead to Article 5, and it doesn't have to be an intentional strike. If a missile just goes off target and hits a NATO country, then we could all be dead before you even heard a news report about some missile hitting Poland. Zelensky refuses to have any peace talks unless Putin agrees that things go back to exactly how they were before the war. But I don't think that's going to happen. And Russia has denied involvement in the Poland missile strike and calls it a provocation. According to Bloomberg, even Biden said that the missile is likely not fired from Russia. So who is it fired from? Was it Ukraine? A few months ago, Zelensky did call for preventative action to deter Russian nuclear strikes. And it really does seem like Zelensky wants to push us into a nuclear war. So if the missiles did come from Ukraine, was it trying to push us into a war? And if that's the case, since Ukraine isn't part of NATO, wouldn't that be an Article 5 issue against Ukraine? Article 5 is supposed to be any attack against any NATO country, and that's supposed to have all of NATO backing up that one country, no matter who the attacker is. If it is Ukraine, and they're trying to start a nuclear war, then I think that would be a perfect time for us to attack Ukraine, or at least to stop giving them billions of dollars. But it's okay, the Polish president says that the missile that killed 2 was probably Ukrainian air defense, meaning that it was probably just an accident. That just makes everything okay, doesn't it? Not really, because this is the closest that we've come to nuclear war since the Cuban Missile Crisis. This kind of stuff needs to stop, because if accidents like this continue to happen, then we really could wipe out all life on this planet, and I don't think that we need to support Ukraine up until the point of that happening. Meanwhile, over here, we're all dealing with super high inflation, and Jerome Powell says that he can't figure out why inflation hasn't started to come down yet. Maybe it has something to do with the White House requesting to send another $37.7 billion to Ukraine for funding, and $10 billion extra dollars for COVID relief? I thought COVID relief was over. That's what Biden said. Why the hell would we have to send them $10 billion for COVID? On top of all of that, all year, North Korea has been launching nuclear tests, and Biden is warning North Korea on their nuclear tests. And in his first face-to-face meeting with President Xi Jinping, President Joe Biden on Monday issued a stark warning. Xi needed to attempt to make it clear to close ally North Korea that launching long-range nuclear tests was unacceptable, and if Pyongyang ignored Xi, then the U.S. would take certain defensive actions to send a clear message to North Korea, whatever the hell that means. But warnings aren't enough. Pyongyang is launching missiles at an unprecedented pace and reportedly exporting artillery shells to Russia, and it's believed to be preparing for a 7th nuclear test. So now we're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, we're depleting our strategic petroleum reserves, we're giving away all of our weapons, and now we're going to possibly have to fight with North Korea and Russia at the same time, and we don't think that China's going to get involved? Why are we using all of our resources to try to back up Ukraine before we actually get in a really huge war where we're going to need all of that stuff? The US, Japan, and South Korea have now vowed a unified response to the North Korean threat, and it looks like this thing is just continuing to ramp up. We have to have peace talks over there in Ukraine, and we can't make it a political or politically correct decision. We have to actually decide that the human race is worth saving, and it's not about the party that you believe in and what kind of side that they're taking. It's all about the human race and just the existence of our species. Right now, I'm not seeing very many good options for the future. It looks like we're either going to see nuclear war, or if nobody hits the button, then we're just going to continue to see inflation run out of control because we just keep sending billions of dollars to people who don't give a shit about us. Let me just remind you one more time that Zelensky had recently called for preemptive action to deter Russian nuclear strikes, meaning that he wanted the US to actually nuke Russia in order to prevent them from nuking Ukraine. And he absolutely refuses to have any peace talks, so what the hell are we backing up, and why are we doing this? Let me know in the comments, how far do you think we should back up Ukraine? Do you think we should follow them all the way into a nuclear war? And to what expense? How much money are we going to send over there, and how much does inflation have to continue going up? Either way, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.